Hi, welcome back everyone, and welcome to the first and the largest online career expo that's ever staged in the city's innovation and technology sector. Now, for those of you who were with us earlier today, welcome back. And for those of you who's new here, just to introduce myself, my name is MC Melody Kwan. This is the second section of our Day 4 event. And for those of you who's interested to find out what's been going on in the previous days, well, we do have about, over 110,000 page views cumulatively up to this point. And then we have over 21,000 visitors. And also we have over 5,000 CVs that's submitted to us. So a lot of stuff that's going on. And also on this virtual platform now, you're probably going to wonder, especially if it's your first time here, what can I expect here? Well, you can expect over 1,000 career opportunities. That's from more than 150 science park technology companies. That's across many different fields. For example, AI in robotics, we got health tech, smart city, fintech, and it's very convenient for all of you because I know most of you are probably at home right now. Now, just over the course of one simple click, you can do this in the comfort of your own home, as I just mentioned. Very simple, and we're presenting you with close to 20 webinars that's featuring some very, very good content. Now, we have experienced recruiters. We also have INT heavyweights. We got trailblazing startups and industry experts over the course of the week. And just so that you know, we are here until March the 31st. And oh yes, and one more thing is if you have any questions that you might want to ask during, like after the sharing sessions, there's a Q&A. I will actually make that very clear. And you can actually type in the questions and submit it to us. Hopefully we have enough time to actually address everyone's questions, because from my experience, we've been getting a lot of questions, and which is good. It's very helpful. So keep them coming in. So everyone, please get ready to say hello to your future and also take your career to the next level and also be ahead of the game. Now, today with me for this session, we are very fortunate to have Mr. Miles Wen. He is the CEO of Fano Labs, and he will talk about the future trends in AI. Everyone, let's put our hands together. I know we can't hear you, but we know you're clapping. So everyone, let's put our virtual round of applause, put our hands together for Miles. Hey, thanks so much for being with us.
Hi.
Hi, Miles, did you, I know you, but let's make sure that all of our audience at home actually also know who you are. Did you want to say something about yourself just to kick off everything?
Of course. Hey guys, I'm Miles. I'm from Fano Labs. Actually, I'm also an honorary assistant professor at Hong Kong University. So basically, my primary job is to run Fano Labs, which is an AI startup. Actually, we are kind of getting a little more beyond the startup stage, but we're still called our startup. Where right now we have 70 employees with 3 offices, 2 offices in Hong Kong, and 1 office in Shenzhen, where we primarily work on AI technologies that revolves around human languages. So basically, in a nutshell, we say we do three kind of technologies. The number one thing, you give me an audio, and we have machines to tell you who are speaking in the audio if there are multiple speakers. And the second thing we do is actually, once we know who are speaking in audio, we tell you what did the speaker say word by word in the audio. And after that, once we know what you say word by word, what do you mean? Are you angry? Are you not? Are you happy? Did you mention somebody's name? Did you mention some instance? So that's the technology we do. And we primarily sell our technologies to governments, to finance FSIs like banks, insurance companies, to trading companies, and also telecoms, airways, train companies. But that's what we do, and we'll primarily focus on the APAC languages. We're talking about Cantonese, we're talking about Singlish, we're talking about Thai, we're also working on Arabic. All those kind of languages very few people work on. And so that's about our company. So we started off in 2015, so that was like almost 5 years ago. So it's getting a little bit old, but we still call ourselves a pretty young startup. So we're doing lots of interesting stuff. And that's my full-time job. And I also have a part-time job is actually with Hong Kong University, where I tend to guest lecture lots of courses around AI, but not on pure technical anymore. I'm mostly helping technology on courses where we touch on how to commercialize AI technologies and how, from an academic point of view, how do we turn our research into commercially deployable technologies and products. So that's what we do in both times. But that's actually mostly my hobby in terms of teaching. My primary job is really to run the company, make sure we're growing pretty well. And also at the same time, we're used to be one of the earliest, used to be the incubated company in Hong Kong Science Park. And then when we graduated about 2.5 years ago, we turned a tenant. And then now we're in another program called Elite program, which is a little more elite within Science Park. And at the same time, we're actually, we tend to be pretty low key in general, but we got a little PR notice by the media when we got investment from a very large VC called Horizons Ventures, which is Mr. Li Ka-shing's fund. I think we're still up to date. I think we're one of their only technology portfolio in Hong Kong. So that's a brief intro about Fano and about me.
Right. Wow. Quite the background. I'm so impressed. Now I am actually a little bit more curious about like why did you pick Fano Labs, and also what are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced up to this day? I mean, it's been what, five years, right? So.
Yeah. So basically, I was actually studying in the United States. I was studying in Berkeley before 2015, and I came back to Hong Kong around that time. So at that time, I was actually planning to join university as a lecturer or assistant professor. But then I changed my mind when I realized out in Hong Kong, we have so many cool technology in the university. We have lots of cool technologies, which are really cutting edge. But if you look in the market, lots of people still say Hong Kong has no technology. So we see there's a gap. And to me, I feel like this is something we should prove people wrong, right? Because we do have good stuff. It's just like some of us, we're not trying to commercialize the best technology we do in university. So that's actually why I decided to leave the academia world and start a venture into the startup world and founded Fano. So that was actually the initial story about why we started. And the other reason, actually, one thing I was not pretty unhappy back then is I was actually helping university recruit students, like high school graduates, to come and join school to university. I'm not saying to just get high score and join Hong Kong U. I was saying about come and join our engineering program. We have very good engineering programs. And the problem we faced actually back then, the parents, they would say, Miles, look, you're good. But if my kids go to engineering program, what kind of job does he get? What's the future? And I would say, you can do so many things. And they would say, you know what? Tell me how much salary you can make by doing this. And I realized actually there's a gap in the market because there's a general lack of high-tech companies in the market. The market is not there yet. And this also drives lots of parents away and also kids away from engineering schools, which is also something I want to change, because I know if we build a high-tech company that we do high-tech and we sell to outside beyond Hong Kong, then hopefully we can inspire more young people to come into engineering and start working on science, not just for studying, but also as a career. That's how we started. And that was really hard, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an opportunity also, and I also see how you're trying to like bridge the gaps and also trying to shine the spotlight on things that, as you say, we do have technology here, and a lot of people don't realize that. So you're trying to not only enlighten the people to actually be more involved, but also bring it to people's like realization that actually this stuff is here. So wow, thanks. It's not an easy job, as you just said. But I also want to know, like from your expertise, is what kind of trends have you been seeing in the AI development, particularly in the areas where Fano Labs is focused on right now?
Okay, so first of all, AI is not a new thing. Back in the days, we do not call it AI, we just say machine learning. Earlier than that, we call statistical inference. That's been a subject in school for like 2 to 3 decades already. That's been there for a long time. In terms of trend, so basically what we see, from my perspective, what I see over the past few years is there's actually an increasing trend of adaptation of AI technologies, but not only by the government, but also by the commercial world. I mean, actually, the commercial world goes first, and the government's moving some wider deployments. So that's actually where what I see over the past. And going forward, what I do see is there's actually a stronger trend in terms of figuring out when we're in a world where there's so many places, so many deployments of AI, where the biggest difference between an AI system, which what we do, and a traditional software system is, in the traditional software system, everything is deterministic. In a sense that if you design a rule, say if you do A and B, then you get C. You run a program, you give it A, you give it B, you give C. But in AI field, what we do is actually you say, you give me A, you give me B, and the output will be, there's 99% of a chance it will give you a C, but it's 1% of a chance it will give you a D. And there's actually maybe some other chance to give you something else, which we don't know. But that's all of a sudden putting a lot of challenges to our entire system in terms of how do we legalize it? How do we regulate it? Because you can't blame a system. When we say, it's not different, you cannot predict anymore, your probability. You can predict with a confidence, but you cannot predict for sure. How does it happen? So these all of a sudden become a trending in terms of all of a sudden people start talking about how do we regulate AI? So that's also a field where we're looking at. So we say over the past, it's been a race in terms of deployment, but going forward, it's going to be a race for regulation. How do you make sure that you're building a program that brings benefits to society rather than bringing dooms to us?
That's true. I think it's also, like you mentioned, it's about like regulating, but I think it's also being very real about it. I don't think we live in a perfect world where everything, we want it to happen the way we want it to, but there will always times when it's not. And it's just being realistic in terms of kind of, I guess it's about setting people's expectations as well and how to work around it, perhaps.
Yes, it's about expectations, but it's also about, we actually spend lots of time from a company point of view, we spend lots of time educating our customers. Right. Because not everybody knows statistics. Not everybody knows about probabilities. I have to tell them how probability theories work, and then also one of the things that's very counterintuitive is actually, if I tell you there's an instant, there's something that might happen at 100% probability, then it's not guaranteed that this will happen, right? An event with a 100% probability of happening may not happen. An event with zero probability of happening might happen. So those are the things that are very counterintuitive, especially for the commercial world where they're not really used to this kind of technologies.
That's true. And even trying to explain that logic, even just when you said it, it kind of sounds confusing in a way, but it's true at the same time. So you can imagine trying to explain that to other people when you're trying to apply that rule to other stuff is definitely not easy. Wow. That was really weird. Like even when I just said it again, I was like, it's right and wrong at the same time. So, wow, I got it, but I can't expect everyone to. So thank you. That was very good. Yep. And now another one is it's just one of my first questions that come to mind is what kind of opportunities for job seekers are there at Fano Labs? Like what jobs are there right now? And what skill sets are you guys valuing the most? It's kind of like two questions in one.
Yep. So in Fano Labs, we have different departments and different teams. So we have in the very back end, we have a very hardcore science team, we call it science team or research team, which are basically you need a PhD to be in that team. And that's actually a team where we work on our cutting edge technology. We compete with all the best researchers out on the planet. For that department, basically you need to be very cutting edge. You need to be scientific. You need to have may or may not be a PhD, but you need to be that kind of caliber to be in there. And that's really purely scientific. And then we have our product department, which we have product managers, we have engineers, we have system architects. These are good engineers that they build our things up because you cannot get a technology and put it in the market. You need engineers to make it work and make it very, very stable. And that's another department. We also have a department of engineers who are usually, their whole job is to look at our clients, the premises. When we deploy our technologies, how do they work? How does the integration work? How do we do testing? That's another bunch of engineers. And then also we have project managers and business analysts, where these are the people who will go out and then tell our clients how to use our technologies. What's the right expectations? What are the things, where are the situations where things might go wrong and how do you combat it? And then we'll go over the front end. We'll also have our sales and marketing people who actually go out and talk to people, thinking about solutions and everything. And of course, we have our F&A, we have accountants, we have our admin people. So it's more of we have a positions every single place. And then we're very multifunctional as a team. But in terms of how we so that's why when we evaluate candidates, we kind of value the general characteristics, we call it culture fit of the candidates a lot. Because in Fano, we're working on all the new technologies. Everything we do is going to be completely new. Because there's only one Fano in Hong Kong. There's only one company like us doing what we do. So we tend to value candidates who are very curious about new technology, who are very curious, who are very smart, who like to go extra mile to learn things. Because something, when I tell you that's something I know, that I may be wrong. I want people to challenge me. Go find something, tell me, hey, Miles, what you said is wrong. And here's where things are changing. Those are things we really appreciate. We tend to be in a place where everybody challenges each other, and that's how we come up with new ideas. So that's how we come up with better solutions to move things forward. So that's what we care the most.
Wow, that's actually quite a unique culture, especially like being in Asia. Like I think it's actually kind of like the other way around, where you're expecting people to do as you say, and when challenging, like well, being challenged is not a good thing. In this case, that's what makes you guys grow. And I think a lot of people would actually really appreciate that. Even me hearing that, I'm like, not a lot of companies are like that. And I'm glad that's something that you guys are very open to. Now, I'm looking at time right now. Maybe we should jump into the Q&A that's from the audience, because we've got a lot that's coming in. So shall we jump right in?
Yep.
Okay, let's see. And let's extend this by a few more minutes too, because just looking at the sheer volume of questions, I'm trying to address as much as I possibly can. Now, question number one, how to stay competitive and how do you always stay competitive in the AI industry as it's getting so popular?
So this comes in several angles. From a company point of view, the way we stay competitive is we have an army of scientists. That's what we do, right? You need a whole bunch of scientists to keep pushing technology forward. But that's from a company point of view. But in terms of if you're asking from someone who are entering the field, from a personal point of view, how do we stay competitive? Then my advice is keep learning. That's it. I have to learn every single day because technology changes every single day. And basically, and when you're in the front line, you're looking at cutting edge technology, something we call state of art. We are breaking our state of art numbers in terms of accuracy, speed, everything, every single week. Every week, somebody will beat your number for sure. So you got to keep learning, see what's going on, keep improving. That's how you can remain competitive.
True. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's like with a lot of things, like you may be the best today, but then how can you make sure that you are like that every day, that even when people are competing with you, that you're always on top of your game? So I think that's what you're trying to say, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, another thing is, it's kind of related. What attributes should a talent have to possess to build this career in the AI industry?
I would say there's no single uniform about what kind of attributes or characteristics for somebody to be successful in the AI industry. I mean, I don't see any commonality in that front. But one thing I do believe is actually, if you want to be successful in any technology, high-tech industry, you need to make sure you are constantly learning, you're constantly improving, you're very eager to absorb new knowledge and be willing to accept that somebody's doing this better than you and you better work harder. So that's actually my 2 cents in terms of how you're going to stay competitive. Right. Because everybody's doing that.
Yeah, that's true. Especially like but then I guess that's also a driving and a motivating force as well, because there's all these people that's chasing you. So you got to run not just as fast as you can, but you might have to push yourself 110% just to stay ahead. Right.
That's right.
Now, and another one is, are studies in linguistics and computer science necessary to work in a company like yours? And if the answer is yes, for people with a degree in a non-related field, what courses and certificates would actually help?
Well, the answer is actually no. So we don't, I would say for my 70 employees, there's only one person with a linguist degree. And there's actually, for computer science, we have quite a few, but there's not a lot of them. We have people from physics degrees. We have people from accounting. We have people from like business degrees. We have all sorts of degrees, like different kind of things. Also electrical engineering and mechanical engineering, et cetera, et cetera. So at the end of the day, it's really not about the degree you're coming from. It's about your attitude. Are you willing to learn? Are you ready to learn? And do you have the appetite? Are you willing to go extra mile to really learn a lot? And because inside Fano, lots of the time when we have a new employee coming in, so we take a lot of fresh grads, by the way. When it comes in, they basically do nothing, right? You're just fresh grad, right? We basically tend to give them lots of courses, lots of readings. Go read it. We'll give you a couple of weeks, and then we do more courses internally. We coach you up, and we see how fast you are absorbing everything. And we have lots of people willing to offer them help. You gotta be sure that you can leverage the help. Like you know how to ask the right question to whom.
Okay, so I guess to answer that question, then I guess it's quite encouraging and quite enlightening in a way, because most of the people aren't from a linguistics background. And I guess the courses and the certificate that this person was thinking about getting to actually get ahead of the game, it's more like a byproduct from their curiosity and their hunger to learn. So it's not like they have to chase a course and a certificate. It's because they want to learn so much. It's going to be it's inevitable. They'll get it. Now, another one is, how is AI changing the career landscape of non-tech industries?
Well, that's a good one. I would say from what I see from the way our clients are using our technology, so basically we're pushing ourselves to the limits to make our technology better and better. But we're also somehow, as a byproduct, we're pushing our clients' people to their own limits as well. because from oftentimes when we deploy our technology solution for our customers, we're basically our value proposition. They say, you're not deploying AI because you want to deploy AI. It's because when you deploy our solutions, you're doing things faster, more efficiently, and cheaper, and or even for higher qualities. And then when we do it, for some tasks, we get the machines to cooperate with the human operators for what they do. And in some other cases, we actually come in and say, you know what, for this particular job, just stop getting humans, just get a machine running. And let's race. Let's see how fast the machine can do it and how fast your people can do it. Well, machines wins out most of the time, by the way. So that's actually where we tend to create a side product. We push lots of people to say, you got to work harder. One of the cases we do is actually just processing financial statements, right? When you have a financial statement from a bank processing financial statements, labor job, you copy and paste, do comparison. Machine, well, we can process like hundreds of thousands of financial statements in a second. How can you do that with a human? So that's actually where things are really pushing them to the limit. They have to think about what do they gonna use with the humans, because machines make mistakes, and a human comes in. Well, why don't you just stop looking at financial statements? You start working on correct the mistakes made by our machines. So those are the things where we see the industry being changed.
Right. And I can, from what you just said there, it feels like the pace that you guys are moving, it's kind of like in terms of, I don't know, it seems like you're moving in terms of like light years or even that light speed. Do people actually all receive it so well when they see that you guys are actually moving so fast? I'm just curious. Like, how do they feel about catching up to that?
No, this is a good one. Normally, it depends on who is looking at this. For regular work, for ordinary workers, so some of you say, you know, what are you doing? Why? Okay. But normally, if you're looking at the senior management, the people who has a big stake in the company, they will say, you know what, their mission is to make sure they're serving the citizens better, faster, with the higher quality, right? That's the goal. And also as lower cost. That's, if you think about government, think about enterprise, that's how they think. On that level, it doesn't matter. As whichever works better, they will adopt it. But on lower level, some people we come across, they're actually more acceptive to this ideas. You know what, you're stopping me from working on those really stupid jobs, boring jobs, so I can focus on things that generate more value. So there are people like that. So they're having a better career path. But for people who are refusing to change, now they're having a hard time, I would say. They're really having a hard time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like it's all kind of like the early adopters, the general public, and then the late adopters. So it's very different perspective. But you're right. The ones that are striving to excel will definitely be like, I'm all in. So okay, Nat. Wow. Oh geez, we're running out of time. Okay, so I'll jump to the next. Actually, that's our last question. Someone wants to know, how can I equip myself if I start my AI career in Hong Kong and target for an opportunity to work with an international exposure?
Okay, that's a good one. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking to do a startup, yeah, I would say this is probably not the best timing, because macroeconomics is good and it's not good. There are also already bigger players already a few years ahead of you. But if you're talking about, from pure career point of view, join some company to excel in yourself, then you basically, think about attitude, like I showed you, is actually be very hungry to grow, be very hungry to learn. And also you want to be in a place, regardless as a school or a company or research institute or wherever, be sure you are in a place where the work environment is enabling you to keep the hunger, to keep that curiosity going, to make sure you can keep learning and improving. Because if you're in a community, in a workplace where the entire environment is enabling you to grow faster, to do more, then you're naturally getting faster and going beyond. So I cannot say that everybody can be on a very tip top in the world's in the entire world stage, because that's something really, really tough. Right. But if you keep doing that, if you're in a place where everybody's growing fast and you are growing fast, learning a lot, then you definitely gonna have a spot in the world stage. That's something I can assure you. So that's actually my general advice for people looking in this direction. Right.
And because there's a lot that's involved, it's not like there's not high returns or it's not promising, but you just have to put in so much work into it. It's going to be a very rewarding experience. That's what they say, right? Was it go big or go home, right?
Yes.
So thanks so much, Miles. It looks like time's up, so we got to wrap this up. But thank you so much for being with us today. Everyone at home, say thank you to Miles. It's been a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you. All right,
It's a pleasure.
everyone. This wraps our webinar session for the future trends in AI. And everyone, if you want to recap the key takeaways, the recorded version is actually available online throughout our entire virtual career expo. And also just about what's happening tomorrow, just a little bit that's going on. And oh yeah, before I say that, we're here until March the 31st. So for tomorrow, we have the topics of Building a Thriving Future with Biotechnology by Stanley C. He's the CEO of Sanomics, and Linda Liang, she is the CEO of Bellin. And also, there's another topic. I like this one. It's Make Your Closing Perfect During an Interview by Paul Chan, Associate Director, Head of Hong Kong, Spencer Ogden. Now, for those of you who were earlier, we were talking about like how to ace an interview and how to do your CV. So this is actually pretty much like the second part of it, how to close and leave a good remark. And then the last one for tomorrow is Most in-Demand Skills in INT by Mr. Alex King, and he's the Strategic Partner Manager of Hatch. Everyone, don't forget, come in on time tomorrow and don't miss any of these. And last but not least, I just want to say, if you have any inquiries or need any technical support, please do contact us at hksp@vfairs.com. And we're happy to help out if you have any problems. And that's it for today. We'll hope to see you again tomorrow. And look at the schedule in case you don't know what the times are. I just want to say good luck in terms of your job search at the Hong Kong Science Park Virtual Career Expo. My name is MC Melody Kwan. I'll see you soon. Bye.